If you clicked on this video, then you want to know why I have just claimed that data is no longer king. And if you think this video is clickbait, it really isn't, because there's things that's been happening in the market that the data simply cannot keep up. And we need to talk about that. Because data is only one aspect of property investment. And as we've seen over the past couple of months, we are starting to see the spike in the price growth. If we look at Bendigo, for example, you check it out on SQM Research, you can check this yourself. We can see that in the past month or two, it has absolutely spiked in growth because a lot more investors. However, when we look at the data on HTAG, for example, when we look at Greater Bendigo, we can't see that same level of anticipation in the supply and demand metrics, right? We're still not seeing that demand level drop to a point where you can say 100% there is capital growth happening right here at this very moment. You have to be on the ground. You need to have boots on the ground talking to property managers and sales agents to really understand that price growth is already happening in some of these locations. There's a lot more investment activity happening in these locations, and it's showing in some of this data when it comes to the actual capital price or the sales price. But we're still yet to see that in the core metrics of supply and demand, vacancies, etc. And then, so how do we really predict these markets if we can't look at the data and really say, hey, this is where capital growth is occurring? When I was investing back in 2021 and looking at these areas in Perth and regional Queensland, we could really see that there was activity starting to pick up in some of these regional locations across Queensland, but we can't see that activity happening in regional New South Wales or regional Bendigo. And that's because the markets these days are now moving faster than data can keep up. And that leaves you at a loss if you stick to the algorithm that data is king. And I'll explain some core metrics why. Now, I'm not saying that we need to forget about data entirely, because data is still incredibly important when it comes to timing the market right? When we're looking at days on market, stock on market long slope, rent to owner occupier ratio, vacancy rate trends, price growth trends, these metrics are all important in critically understanding what the market is doing, how the market is moving, and that will help us time the market better. But there are a couple of key metrics that you need to look at that will help you predict which markets have good value, have good potential for growth, but not necessarily growing at that very point in time, right? And this always goes back to my theory of let's look at investing counter-cyclically. Let's look at investing where other people are not investing, but where there is still value investing. That is why over this past year of doing these YouTube videos, I have talked about certain areas across Albury, regional Bendigo, Shepparton over this past year. And I talked about them so early because I saw value and potential in them. And it comes down to a couple of metrics that I looked at. And I'm going to break that down for you. But if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to this private email newsletter where over the next 30 days, I will give you 30 property tips and insights which you can apply directly to your investment portfolio or to buying your first investment property or your fifth one, because there's so much value in this private newsletter. So make sure you are subscribed because it provides you so much value for literally nothing. It's completely free. So make sure you put your email in and subscribe now. Do it now. But let's get back into the video. Now, there are some key metrics that I want to talk about that you should look at if you want to try buy in good markets that have potential for growth and where you can invest counter-cyclically. And I'm going to tell you these metrics, right? Now, the first one is affordability. Affordability is a very key metric. And over the past 5 to 7 years, it has become incredibly important to predicting where house prices can potentially grow. And affordability is particularly important in proportion to a region's income or a person's income in that area. If it is an affordable area, that means prices can grow and it has room to grow, and owner occupiers are willing to pay more money for the same property than they were before. So affordability is a key metric we want to look at. And affordable prices as an investor also means cheaper entry points, and also means more affordable entry points for us to buy properties and allow the rental income to pay the mortgage down. And that perfectly leads on to my next point, which is yield. As an investor, yields are so critically important. If we have a poor yield of 2 or 3% or below 3%, then holding the property becomes very tiresome and very burdensome. And not only that, it also impacts our ability to buy future properties and build our investment portfolio in a smart manner. And this 2 points alone, affordability and yield, is why it went from all the hype around regional Queensland and Cairns, Townsville, etc., straight up to Darwin, because in Darwin we saw the exact same things: affordable entry prices around $450,000 to $500,000 and yields which were at 7%. And everyone else forgot about all the other metrics and job diversity, economy, infrastructure, and past cyclical history, but they all invested there because affordability and yield. That's it. It was easy to buy and the rent covered the mortgage. That's it. That's how easy it was to determine that Darwin was a potential investment location for people to consider. And it's still happening there at this point in time as we speak. But as I said many times, look at Darwin's long-term hold potential because it's not great, right? But what's the next one we're going to look at, right? We want to look at jobs, economy, and projects. Now, I'm not saying infrastructure projects which are plans, not quote unquote plans. I mean active infrastructure projects. Are they building a hospital right at this point in time? Is that bringing construction jobs? Is that going to bring jobs after that as well? How's the economy doing? Is the GRP increasing every single year? Is the unemployment rate getting lower and lower? Are more people able to have jobs in that region and in that economy? Because it's so important. If they don't have jobs, if the economy is not growing, then it is unlikely for the people to stay in that location. And if people don't have jobs, they can't pay their mortgage and they're not going to live there. So another good factor of way to predict a market is jobs and economy, right? Not planned infrastructure projects that people pull out of, like in Gladstone, for example, but I'm talking about infrastructure projects that are actively happening in that area. And can the economy, its diversification, and its employment hold the people there, unlike Darwin, which is known to be a very transient place to live and work. And the last one I want to say is value. Value is so critically important, and I don't think it's talked about enough. Back in 2020, 2021, 2022, even if it was early, both Perth, that you can see here, and Townsville and Cairns and regional Queensland as a whole had incredible value. And what I mean by incredible value was affordability, cheap entry, house price point, and yield. And it's really easy to pick these locations as next possible locations for house prices to rise, and we saw that happen. And if you invested in 2021, 2022, yes, you were early, but you're still in the market and you're not buying in there late, right? And that's why the other part of the metrics is so important: how to time the market, DOM, SOM, and stuff like that. But nowadays data moves faster, and so you need to lean more heavily on these metrics to determine where potentially the next markets can go. And this is why I made so many videos early on when I started this channel about locations across New South Wales and across Victoria as potential locations, because it had what Townsville and regional Perth had back in the day, but not to the same extent. It had affordability, it had cheap entry price, and it had a good yield. And these were some core metrics that I looked at and thought, hey, if what happened in Townsville and Perth, the same thing can happen in regional New South Wales and regional Victoria. Now, of course, not to the same extent because it had a COVID boom, but it's still valuable. You could find properties under $500,000, which were good quality properties. Now, you can't find that same properties in Albury or Bendigo anymore because the market's already moved. But these are just some examples of markets that are moving faster than data was able to keep up. But there were ways to look at it, ways to predict it. And that was affordability, yield, jobs economy, and value. Because as an investor, that's what we're looking for. Now, it's a very counter-cyclical approach. And to be honest, I didn't expect Bendigo, Albury Wodonga to move as fast as it did. I even said in some of my earliest videos, it might take 12 to 18 months before anything happens. My Melbourne thesis video, which you can check out. But it's already moved faster than data can predict. So if you're relying purely on data and you're not understanding what moves markets and how markets move and how fast they can move, then you're going to be left behind and the market's going to move faster than you expect. And if you're on a tight budget, then you need to be in the market before it moves, and they move fast these days. And so if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to the private community, guys, right? It's an absolute no-brainer because we were talking about these markets 3 to 6 months ago, even 7 months ago, and you guys missed out, and you're missing out if you're not part of the private community. There's over 230 people helping each other out, and you can ask me questions and get mentorship by me. So make sure you jump in. It's $35 a month, an absolute no-brainer. If you're feeling lost, confused, unsure about where to invest next, what to invest into, and where to invest into, make sure you're part of this private community. Till next time, thank you.